Welcome to the session. The session topic is Practical Laboratory Programs on Above Topics using C++. So in the previous session, we have learnt about the break statement, continue statement, as well as the nested control statements. So the session objectives are: we learn how to use the while loop in the program and how we can use the do while loop, the for loops, nested for loops, and how to use the break statement and how to use the continue statement in the program. So the session outcomes are, so you know how to write the program that is using the while loop and the do while loop, and you know how to write the program using the for loop as well as the nested for loop, and you know how to write the program using the break statement, and you know how to write the program using the continue statement. See, first we'll see a program that is on the while loop. See, here we have a program that is to check whether a given number is palindrome or not, that is using the while loop. See, palindrome is nothing but it is the same when we reverse any number. So any number, it could be a palindrome if it remained the same when we reversed it. See, for example, if we take 191, so it is a palindrome number because this number, it remains the same after reversing the number. See, some of the steps that we have to follow when we have to check whether a given number is palindrome or not, that is in the C++ program. See, what we are supposed to do is, we are supposed to first enter any number, that is to check whether it's palindrome or not. Then the given number, we are supposed to reverse that number. Then we have to compare the original given number with your reverse number. So if they're matched correctly, then it becomes your palindrome number. Otherwise, it becomes not a palindrome number. See, let's see the program. So we have the program. See, we have # include iostream.h and # include conio.h. So these are your header files. These header files are included. Then we have void main function. Then open braces. Then we have int num comma r comma res comma temp is equal to 0. Here temp we have assigned the value, that is 0. So temp value is being initialized to 0 initially. And num r and res, these are the variables whose type is integer. Then we have the output statement, that is cout statement. We have enter any number. So first we have to provide some number. We have to provide a number and then we have to check whether that given number is palindrome or not. So then we have the cin statement, that is your input statement, num. So we're going to provide some number. For example, if you're providing a number like 191, so 191 will be assigned to your num. Then we have r is equal to res is equal to 0. So you are assigning the value 0 to both r as well as res variables. So next we have the while loop. So before that we have temp is equal to num. So what we are doing is, the number that we have given, that number will be assigned to your temp variable. So temp is your temporary variable to which we are assigning the number that we have given. So what we do is, we are using a while loop. We have while num is greater than 0. When this number value, it is greater than 0, so it goes inside. When this condition is evaluated to true, so inside your braces we have r is equal to num %10. See, what value you take, the number value that we have given, so you're going to do a modulus division, so that result will be stored in the r. Then we have num is equal to num by 10. That is, we make a division, the number that is being chosen. For example, 191 divided by 10. So that result will be stored or assigned in the num variable. Then we have res is equal to res into 10 plus r. So initially res has been assigned to value 0. So 0 into 10 plus r, that value will be assigned to res. So this while loop will be executed until your num is greater than 0, it is evaluated to false. Okay. So when this is being done, we have if condition. If temp is equal to result. Okay. So when your temp, the number as well as whatever the result that you have got, so if it is equal, then we have a cout statement which prints that your number is palindrome. Otherwise else, if your temp is equal to result, if it is evaluated to false, then it will be, that is, the else block will be executed, that is, number is not palindrome. Okay. So next we have the getch, then closing braces. See, for example, if you take your output, in your output, see, enter any number, so that will be printed. For example, a user has given your input as 1221. So even if you reverse that number, it is the same. So the result will be number is palindrome. If you take for another number, another input, that is 5674, you can see when you reverse that number, it's not the same. So therefore, that will be executed as the number is not palindrome. See, next we'll see a program that is using a do-while loop. We'll see a program that is using a do-while loop. So here we are using the finding the factorial of a number. So number is being given, for that we'll compute a factorial, that we are using the do-while loop. See, we have ash include iostream.h, then ash include conio.h. So these two are the header files. Then we have void main function. So void is nothing but it doesn't return anything. We have a main function, then opening braces. We have int fact is equal to 1, then comma number. See, fact is a variable whose data type is integer. For this fact, we are initializing the value. The value is 1. And you have another variable, that is number, whose type is integer. Then we have the cout statement, that is cout enter any number. So enter any number, it will be displayed on your output screen. Then we have cin number, so user will enter any number. For example, if user enters a number 5, so the factorial of 5 will be calculated, that is executed, calculations will be done, and finally the result will be given as your output. So we have cin, then number. We are using a do while loop. So we have do, then opening braces. First what we do is fact is equal to fact into number. So initially fact we have assigned the value to be 1. So 1 into number. For example, your number you have taken it to be 5. Then it becomes 1 into 5. That is nothing but 5. So 5 will be assigned to your fact. So next what we are doing is number decrement. So decrement operator we are using. You are making use of a decrement operator. Then closing braces. Then you have the while. Number is greater than 0. So you are seeing whether your number is greater than 0. So the number that we have given input is 5. So your 5 is greater than 0. So when this is true, again your do statements, that is your fact is equal to fact into number as well as number decrement statements will be executed. So until when this will be executed? Until your while condition, that is number is greater than 0, will be evaluated to false. When it is evaluated to false, your do statements will stop the execution. So next statement we have, that is factorial is. So the factorial is will be printed in your output screen, and the fact value, what the fact value is, so that value will be given as your output. Then we have getch, then closing braces. So if you see your output, so enter any number. For example, we have given 5 as the number. So it computes the factorial. We all know factorial of a 5 is nothing but that is 120. How you are going to calculate your factorial? That is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So you get the result, that is factorial of 5 is 120. See, next we'll see a program that is using the for loop. See, this is the program that is to find the sum of even and odd numbers, that is between 1 and 10. So between 1 and 10 and means 1 to 10. So here we are going to find that is the sum of odd numbers as well as the sum of even numbers. So that is using your for loop. So we have as include iostream.h, as include conio.h. So iostream.h and your conio.h, these are your header files. Then we have void main function, then opening braces, int I comma sum even is equal to 0, comma sum odd is equal to 0. See, we have three variables, that is I, sum even and sum odd. So sum even and sum odd is being assigned, that is the value is being initialized, the value is 0, and I, sum even and sum odd, these data type is integer. See, we are using a for loop. We have for I is equal to 1 semicolon, I is less than or equal to 10 semicolon, I increment. So I is equal to 1, that is your initialization. So you are initializing the value of I is equal to 1. Then we have I is less than or equal to 10. So this I is less than or equal to 10 is your test condition, and I increment, that is your update operation. Then we have opening braces. So we have if I modulus division, that is I mod 2 is equal to 0. So we know that, see, when you divide any number, okay, so when you divide any number by 2, that is your even number. So the remainder will be 0. When you get the remainder to be 0, then it becomes, that is even numbers. So all those even numbers you are supposed to add, that is from 1 to 10. So for that, we are going to make use of the if condition, that is if I modulus division 2 is equal to 0, then we have, that is sum even is equal to sum even plus I. So initially your I value is 1, from 1 to 10 your for loop will be, that is it will be iterating. So sum even value initially it is 0, so it becomes 0 plus I, 0 plus I, whatever the I value is there, that value will be taken. So if your if condition, that is I percentage 2 is equal to 0, if it is false, then your else statement, that is sum odd is equal to sum odd plus I will be calculated. So by doing this, we compute the sum of odd numbers as well as the sum of even numbers from 1 to 10. See, when this for condition, that is evaluated to false, when your I value it becomes 11, when your I value becomes 11, your for condition it will be false. At that time it comes out of your loop. Then we have your cout statement. In the cout statement we have sum even is equal to, that is sum even. So sum evenly, so what value will be stored, that value will be displayed as your result. Okay. Then next we have slash n in the sense it comes to your next line. Then you have sum odd is equal to, so you have sum odd, so the whatever value that is stored in your sum odd, so that value will be displayed. So in your output what you are going to get, you are going to get your sum even, that is to be 30, and your sum odd, that is to be 25. See, from 1 to 10, you know which are your even numbers. So your even numbers are 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10. So that will give a result, that is 30. So if you consider your odd numbers, that is from 1 to 10. So we have 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. So you get a result, that is 25. See, next we'll see a program that is for your nested for loop. See, if one looping statement, it is enclosed within another looping statement, then such a sequence of the loop statements are called the nested loops. See, if one for loop, it is present within another for loop, then it is known as your nested for loop. See, whenever nested loops are used, your innermost loops will be completed first. Your innermost loops will be executed first, then that is finally your outermost loop completes its execution. See, there should not be any overlapping when you are placing the loop that is inside another loop. So each loop, they should have the different index variables. So when you're using the index variables, each loop, it has to have a different index. So here we have a program. So this program is used to generate the pattern. So you can see a pattern, there is an asterisk symbols you can see. So this is used to generate the following pattern, that is by making use of your nested for loop. So we have #include iostream.h, then #include conio.h, the header files. Then we have the main function, void main, then opening braces. We have int I comma j. So I and j, these are the two variables of the type that is integer. Then we have the for loop. For I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 4. Then we have I increment. So I is equal to 1 is your initialization. Then I is less than or equal to 4 is your test condition, and I increment, it is your update operation. So when this for statement, it evaluates to true, so then it goes inside, that is inside your for block you have another for statement. That is, we have for j is equal to 1, then j is less than or equal to I, then we have j increment. Here the test condition is your j is less than or equal to I value we are considering. So if this statement has been evaluated to true, then we have the output statement, that is your cout statement. We have the asterisk symbol. Okay. So next we have, that is your closing braces. Then we have cout, that is /n. /n is nothing but it is for your next line that we use. Then we have your getch. So this will display the pattern of asterisks, that is in the first row you can see there is only one asterisk, and the second row you can see there are two asterisks, in the third row you can see there are three asterisks, in the fourth row you can see there are four asterisks. So you are making use of two for loops. See, if a loop is being present within another loop, then it is called your nested for loop. See, next we'll see a program that is to print the numbers from 1 to 10, and you're supposed to break at 5 by using your break statement. So by using the break statement, what we are doing is you're supposed to print the numbers that is from 1 to 10, and you're supposed to break at the 5. See, why a break statement is used? See, break is mainly used to terminate the loop. So if you want to terminate a loop, and if you want to exit, that is from a particular switch case, in that case we are going to make use of a break statement. See, when break is being used inside any of the loop, your control, it actually comes out of your loop, and this will execute the next statement, and the execution continues with your next statement. So here we have a program that is to print the numbers from 1 to 10. So you are printing your numbers from 1 to 10, and you are going to break at 5 by using your break statement. So we have the program that is #include iostream.h, then #include conio.h. These are the header files. We have main function, then we have opening braces, then int a. So a is a variable whose type is integer. We have a for loop. For a is equal to 1, then a is less than or equal to 10, then a increment. So they've given you have to print a number from 1 to 10. So therefore initially your a is 1, and your test condition is a is less than or equal to 10, because it should be up to 10. Then you have your update operation, that is your a increment. So opening braces, See, if your A is equal to 5, so if your A, if it is equal to 5, what happens in that case? We are making use of your break statement. So when you use a break statement, so that will come out of your loop. Okay, so if this if condition what we have, that is if A is equal to 5, if it is not equal, so if it is evaluates to false, then we have a cout statement, that is A. So the value of A will be printed. So then we have a closing braces, then get ch, then again the closing braces. So your for loop, that it comes out of that for loop execution when your A value, it becomes, that is when, so when it exactly comes out of your loops, by then your execution stops. Break in the sense it will come out of your loop. Again your loop doesn't execute. So therefore the output of this program will be, that is 1, 2, 3 as well as the 4. See, next we'll see a program that is to print numbers from 1 to 10 except 5 and 7 using continue statement. See, continue statement, why we use is that it's like your bypass statement. See, whenever your continue statement is used inside your looping statement, the control does not come out of your loop. So your control, it doesn't come out of your loop. Instead, what it does is that it skips the remaining statements. See, whatever remaining statements are there, that is in the body of your loop, it skips that statements and it transfers to the beginning of your loop and it continues with the next iteration of your loop. So your continue statement is like your a bypass statement. So what it does is that when you are going to use your continue statement, that is inside your looping statements, so your control, it doesn't come out of your loop. Instead, it skips your remaining statements and this will transfer to the beginning of your loop and this will continue with your next iteration of your loop. So here we see a program where it will print your numbers from 1 to 10 except 5 and 7. Except 5 and 7, you're not supposed to print those two numbers and you're supposed to use your continue statement. So we have ash include iostream.h, then ash include conio.h, the two header files. We have void main, then opening braces, int a. So a is a variable of type integer. Then we have for a is equal to 1, then a is less than or equal to 10, a increment. So here they have asked in the program, that is to print the numbers from 1 to 10. So initially your a will be from 1. So it has to start from 1 and it has to be up to 10. So therefore the test condition is from a is less than or equal to 10. So a increment is your update operation. We have opening braces, and if a is equal to 5 or a is equal to 7. So you are making use of your logical operator, that is logical OR operator we are using. So OR in the sense, that is if one evaluates to true, if one of your expression evaluates to true, so the result will be true. That is, for example, if a is equal to 5, if it is true, and a is equal to 7 if it is false, then also your result will be true. Okay. So if you take a is equal to 5 is false and a is equal to 7 is true, so then also your result will be true. So if this condition is true, then we have a continue statement. So continue statement in the sense, so this will skip, that is whatever remaining statements will be there inside your loop, that statements will be skipped and it will continue with your next iteration. So it continues with your next iterations. So next we have, that is cout statement, a will be printed. So if condition is false, if condition has been evaluated to false, then the value of a will be printed. So value of a enagate, that will be printed. So we have cout a, so you have closing braces, then we have get ch, then again the closing braces. So for this, the output of this program will be, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 and 7 numbers won't be printed. 5 and 7 numbers won't be printed. You just have, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 as well as the 10. See, in this session, we have seen a program using the while loop. We have seen a program how to use the do while loop, and program using the for loop. So program using your nested for loop, and program using your break statement, and the program using the continue statement. See, we'll see few of the MCQ questions. The first one is, which loop is guaranteed to execute at least one type? So we have options for, while, do while, and none of the above. See, the answer for this question is, that is do while. So do while loop is the one that will be guaranteed to execute at least one time. See, next question we have, which looping process is best when the number of iterations is known? See, when we know the number of iterations, so which looping process is the best one? So we have the options, that is for loop, while loop, do while loop, and all looping processes require that the iterations be known. See, for this, the answer is the A option, for loop. Okay, so for loop is the best loop that when we know the number of iterations. So the next question is, we have, which keyword is used to come out of the loop only for that iteration? Only for that particular iteration, we have to come out of the loop. So which is the keyword that we are going to use? So we have options, break, continue, written, and none. So for this, the answer is B, that is the continue. So you are going to come out of only that particular iteration, not completely out of your loop. See, next question we have, what is the effect of writing a break statement inside a loop? So it cancels the remaining iterations, it skips a particular iterations, the program terminates immediately, loop counter is reset. So for this, the answer is that it cancels your remaining iterations. So whatever remaining iterations are there, that will be cancelled when you use your break statement that is inside your loop. Okay. So next question we have, that is, for semicolon semicolon means, what does it mean? So we have options, the test which is done using some expression is always true, it is not valid, it will loop forever, then should be written as for, that is parenthesis. So for this, the correct answer is C, that is will loop forever. So if you don't mention any initialization, your test condition as well as your update operations, so it will loop forever. So these are the references. Thank you.